Yes.
So hello
So
everyone.
hello everyone. Welcome
So
to this
AWS
AWS
Lambda
Lambda with S3
yesterday
bucket
use case.
use case. As part of this, we are going to create a Lambda function and we are going to work with this Lambda function. So let me start our introduction. So as part of this, we are going to create Lambda. We are going to integrate this Lambda with S3 and we are going to add a file and then we will see how Lambda is going to process that file. So user flow, you can see user upload the files. Files will be uploaded into S3 bucket. Once file is uploaded in S3 bucket, then one event will be trigger and that event will go for AWS Lambda. AWS Lambda will process the file and we are going to see a CloudWatch logs. In that logs, we are going to identify, yes, whatever file we have uploaded into S3 bucket with the help of event is triggered and we are able to process these files. So first, let's try to understand, what is Lambda. AWS Lambda is serverless compute service that runs your code without managing server. Okay, so without managing server. Now in your mind, what is meant by without managing the server? Without managing server, nothing but instead of creating EC2, instead of installing Java on top of that or Python on top of that, managing operating system, scaling servers, high availability, patching, you no need to do anything. Okay,
Yeah,
you no need to, yes, you no need to
sorry.
do anything. You simply upload code and AWS run it automatically. What you have to do as part of this? You have to upload a code and AWS run it automatically. So it is a serverless. We are not going to manage any server. Okay, who is going to manage? AWS people is going to manage. That is called as a serverless. Real world worst case. What is use cases are there? For example, if you want to file processing in your organization, you have requirements, you will get file from some source. That file you are going to upload to S3 bucket, then event is going to trigger, that Lambda function is going to process that file, and after that process file, again it will be loaded into one of the S3 bucket. So such kind of also use case are there. Another use case you can check, ETL, extract, transform, load. If some data is there, like for example CFC files are there, you have to extract, you have to do some modification and transform, you have to load into somewhere, transform CFC files. Notification, if you want to do some kind of automation, auto stop resources, if you want to run API backends, run REST API, security scan uploads files. Okay, if you want to do such kind of things and if you don't want to manage servers, you don't want to do install operating systems, don't want to install runtime manually, you can take the help of serverless. We are going to work with one of the POC scenario. The POC is we are going to upload in a file in S3 bucket. What we will do, we will create one S3 bucket and in S3 bucket, we are going to upload the file. Then once we uploaded the bucket, once we uploaded the object in that particular bucket, the event will be triggered and that event is going to execute Lambda function. In that Lambda function, we will try to check, our content, or we will see our logs in CloudWatch, our event is triggered or not. Okay, this type of use cases are there. So we are going to complete. So S3 detect uploads, S3 trigger Lambda function, Lambda prints file details, log store into CloudWatch. This kind of things we are going to perform as part of this POC. We are going to perform as part of this POC. So sample, for example, sample CSV file is there. We will upload it to S3 bucket. Yes, we will generate one event. Lambda will be invoke. As part of this, we will get some output like a bucket name. We will get file name and we will get a file size. Okay, so this kind of things we can do as part of this POC. So architecture, you can see user is going to upload the file in S3 bucket. So object is going to create, event is it will trigger, and Lambda is going to execute. And we are going to see logs into CloudWatch. So this use case we will try to replicate into today's topic. So first, you have to log in to our AWS cloud. What we have to do? First, you have to log into AWS account. Then you have to create S3 bucket. What you have to create? S3 bucket. Let's try to create S3 bucket. If you want to create a S3 bucket, then you have to go for S3 service, simple storage service. Where you have to go? You have to go for simple storage service. In that, you can try to create bucket. So we will try to create the bucket. So let me create bucket, general purpose bucket. Okay. So click to create bucket. Click to create bucket. In that, select general purpose bucket. Keep a global namespace and provide a bucket name. Let me add a bucket name is alt test, or let me add a bucket name is file test CSV. Okay, this is bucket name we are going to create, file test CSV. Then I will keep as it is. Then I will remove block all public access. I will acknowledge these things and I will create the bucket. Then I will create a bucket. So what is the bucket name is already taken. So someone already have taken this bucket name. Let's try to change the bucket name. Let's try to change the bucket name. Let me add bucket name here. File CSV. Okay. Yes, this bucket name I have added. Let me check now we are able to create or not. Yes. Now we are able to create the bucket. We are able to create the bucket. Yes, bucket successfully created. Which bucket created? This bucket we have successfully created. What we will do? As part of this, we require a Lambda function. Okay, we require Lambda. But before that Lambda, we require IAM role, identity and access management role. Okay, so let me go for IAM service. Let me create a role. Let me create a role. I am going to create a role. So for this bucket, we are going to create a role. So how event will be trigger and how it is going to process for that purpose. So just click to roles. Just click to roles. Then we have to click to create roles. Then we are going to create for AWS service. Which AWS service? From this section, you have to select use case. For example, Lambda. Tomorrow you are going to work with other services. You can select other services. So what we have created, we click to roles. Then we have click to create role in that AWS service. And we are going to select Lambda. Yes, keep as it is. We are going to select Lambda. Let me go for click to next. From here, we are going to select a policy. So let me add a policy here. We are going to select AWS Lambda, some basic execution role. Okay, some basic execution role we are going to add in this role. Next, role name. You have to provide the role name. Let me create Lambda S3 role. Okay. Allow Lambda function to call AWS service on your behalf. Okay. So some description we have added. We have created role name and we have added the policy as part of this. Let me create the role. Let me create the role. Now, successfully, we have created the role. Up to here, what we have completed? We have created the S3 bucket. We have created the S3 bucket. Then we have to work with the Lambda function. So that purpose, we have created a role. Which role? We have created IAM role. Now we are going to play with the Lambda function. We are going to play with the Lambda function. If you want to work with the Lambda, The dedicated service is there. The service name is Lambda. Run code without thinking about server. Yes, we don't want to care about the servers. We are not going to care who is going to create a server. Just we are going to provide the code. If you check here, AWS Lambda, run a code without managing servers. Focus on your application, not your infrastructure. Lambda automatically provision, scale, and monitor while you build. If you want to work with Lambda, Lambda will be support couple of programming language. If you want to work with Java, if you want to work with .NET, if you want to work with Node.js, if you want to work with Python, if you want to work with Ruby, and some custom runtime as well. So you are going to provide your code to this Lambda function. This Lambda function, it will support multiple programming language. It is going to support only Java, not it is going to support for Python. No, boss. If you have to work with .NET, Java, Node.js, Python, Ruby, okay, happily you can put your code in this Lambda function. Happily you can put your code into this Lambda function. So let me create a function. Okay, let me create a function. So navigate to Lambda, create function. Here, three things are there. You want to create from scratch, you are going to use existing blueprint, or they are going to suggest a few things, and you have to create container image. We are going to create this Lambda function from scratch. So select from scratch. Provide the name of the function. Whatever name you have to provide, you can provide the name. So I am going to provide S3. I am going to provide S3 file processor. What name I have provided? S3 file processor. Runtime. Now I am going to provide the code in a Java, then select Java. If I am going to provide the code in Python, then select Python. If I am going to select the code in Ruby or .NET, you have to select runtime according to your requirement. So I am going to provide a code in Python. So I am going to select Python 3.14. Okay, this option you have to select. This option you have to select. Then you have to click to additional setting. You have to click to additional setting, and then you have to go for execution rule. Where you have to go? You have to go for execution rule. Let me go for custom execution rule. Add here custom execution rule. To access other AWS services and resources, your function need IAM role. Means here require permission, right? So choose a role with the right permission for your function. So your function have that permission, happily he can access other services. In our case, we have created the role. Which role created? For S3, we have created the role. So let me select my existing role. But if you want to create your new role, you can also create a new role. Let me create my existing. My existing role name is Lambda S3 role. This option you have to select, click to save, and then click to create function. Click to create a function. Now Lambda is created successfully. Lambda is created successfully. What is my function name? S3 file processor. What is my function name? S3 file processor. This is my Lambda function I have created. If you go here code source, as part of this, we have selected a Python programming. So by default, we will get some code, but we require that code? No. By default, some code we will get. If you selected Java, you'll get like hello world kind of things. So simple hello world program you will get. But we require hello world? No. Our requirement is we are going to put some file into S3. Then S3 will trigger function event. It is going to trigger event. With the help of this event, our Lambda is going to execute. So as part of this Lambda function, we are going to process the file. So that processing logic we have to add here. that processing logic we have to add in this location. In this location we have to add. So already I have that code is there. Let me copy from let me copy from this one. Yes. What is this code? Simple Python code. We are going to input a JSON. Then in Java, how we will write a method with the help of public, static, void, or public, string, or different return type. Here, method, it will start with def, function name, event, and context is parameter. We are going to print with the help of print function. Then we are going to read a bucket name. Then we are going to read a file name as an object from this bucket. Then we are going to print a bucket name. We are going to print a file name. And just we are going to return status code file process successfully. Tomorrow you have to modify this logic according to requirement. Happily you can modify. Just this is a POC. That's why I have added simple logic. Tomorrow you have requirement. This function, it will read the file. After reading, you are going to apply your file processing logic. Then once file is processed, then again you are going to put this data into some other S3 bucket, or you are going to send some of the different entity. Yes, you can do such kind of thing as well. It totally depends on your application requirement. So this code I am going to write as part of this. Let me copy, Control C. I will add here. Yes, let me add here, paste. Check any errors are there or not. Check any errors, any red symbols are there or not. No. And then try to click deploy. What we have to do? Try to click deploy. Okay, updating the function. Okay, successfully function is updated. Okay, yes. Up to here what we have created? We have created S3 bucket. We have configured IAM role. We have created function. In that function, we have deployed our code. Now, we have to add a trigger. Whenever I am going to put any file, the trigger is required to execute this one. We are going to integrate Lambda with different services. Today, we are going to integrate with S3. Tomorrow might be you are going to integrate with different services. So what you have to add? You have to add a trigger. With the help of which event is this going to execute? So let me add here trigger. Click to trigger. What is the source? We have to select. We have to select the source. So in this source, multiple services are there. According to our requirement, we have to select the service. In our case, S3 is a triggering point. So select the S3. If our case a different service, select that service according to requirement. Okay, wait, it is going to load. Once this is loaded, then we are going to select that particular source. Let me go one more time in our functions. Let me go for this function and let me select add trigger one more time. Okay, no issue. It is not rendering. What is source? Now you can check source. If you want to integrate this Lambda function to Alexa, API gateway, code commit, VPC, S3, SNS in different services also you can integrate. We are integrate now with S3. So select S3. In S3, which bucket? Add your bucket name. Our bucket name is file CSV alt. This bucket name. Okay. Yes. Which event type? It will support all event or just it will trigger whenever you are going to put a file. So add here put event type. Put means you are going to add the file. Yes. Put a event. Any prefix, any suffix also if you want to add, you can add. Otherwise, you can acknowledge and add. Yes, this is sufficient. You have created successfully trigger to execute this function. Successfully you have created this function. Also, you have added trigger point. So now let's try to understand the flow. What will it flow? This is S3 bucket. If anyone uploaded any file this S3 bucket, means put event is going to trigger. This event, this trigger point we have configured to this Lambda function. Which function? S3 file processor. This function will be executed. As part of this function, we have written some code. What code we have written? We have written this code. So this logic is going to execute. Let's try to check how we are going to execute. How we are going to execute. You have to upload something to S3 bucket, right? Yes. So let me go for S3 bucket and let me try to add some file in that. Let me add some file in that. So try to again navigate to S3 bucket. How we are going to navigate? Simple search S3. Simple search S3. Click to S3 because earlier we have created a bucket. In that bucket, we have to add this CSV file or any file, whatever you have to add. Currently, we are working with CSV, so you can add the CSV file. Yes. Let me go for my bucket. This is the my bucket. Yes, go inside my bucket. Click to upload. Click to upload. Then add files. Then add open and click to upload. Now uploading. After this, what will happen? Event will be triggered and that file it is going to process with the help of this function. We have to check, right? We have to check. So go for monitoring, click to monitoring and click to CloudWatch logs. In these logs, we are going to check, really that event is triggered or not with the help of logs. CloudWatch is a monitoring service. Yes. So let me go for CloudWatch. And in that, we are going to select how our event is triggered. And as part of this, data is there or not. Yeah, it will take time to load according to your network speed. Once it's completed, I will show. Yes. Loading CloudWatch logs. Now we can go. We are watching the logs for which function? S3 file processor function. If you scroll down, when logs is generated, just click to these streams, log streams. What is? Any start runtime, start request, event is received. Yes, event is received. What is file name? This is the file name. What is the bucket name? This is the bucket name. Hope you are able to see this, all these changes. Okay. Hope you are able to see all these changes. All the changes you are able to see. Bucket name, this. So this is where we are going to work with. This is where we are going to work with this Lambda function. Again, if you want to upload some files, again upload, you can file, you can close. Okay, you can close. Again, click to upload one file of already we have uploaded. Add files. We are here manually uploading. You can your code file upload automatically. Let me some other file. Let me many things are there. Let me click to upload. So again, one event will be trigger. Again, we will see in the CloudWatch. Let me go for my function logs. Let me refresh. Okay, let me refresh. Again, it will trigger the event, and again, these things will be added. Yes. File uploaded successfully. Event will be triggered. Let me refresh. This is where you can work with this Lambda function. So let me check one more time. So new stream, it will be created and it will be added a new message. Now our file name is different. Now our file name is different, log streams. Okay, let me go in the inside this. Now we can check what is file name. File name is this file bucket. Earlier file name is different. Earlier file name is different. Now we can check this is the file. Earlier what file we have uploaded? We have uploaded the different file. We have uploaded the different file. This is where you are going to work. So as part of this POC is completed AWS with Lambda function.